Previously on the Nocturnal Movie Club.
There's a bigger story going on.
Couple who's stuck there, I think they kind of snapped out of because reality kind of started hitting them. Oh, we're stuck, and you're gonna let me die.
I still don't know who's controlling this universe whatsoever.
Play a show where you really don't know what's coming next. Like, I don't think I've guessed one thing that actually occurred.
I think next episode, Agnes is going to start to come to break out of her shell more and more.
I think she's one of the witches.
When Agnes is like, should I take that line again? And throughout the episode, they kind of keep hinting that Wanda's controlling everything. But the more the show goes on, I'm convinced she's not in control of everything.
And I believe this show is going to really set up her as the villain, or it could lead into Fantastic Four's debut.
The way she went into Sword and stole the body, I just don't think that's Wanda.
I think Vision, within the next 2 or 3 episodes, is going to figure out what's going on and try to escape there.
I suspect for either this next episode or the final episode might be a little over an hour long.
And of that hour-long runtime, 30 minutes are going to be credits.
But I'm praying we get finally the flashbacks to the Salem, which we know they filmed, the Salem trials. Oh shit.
That's Kevin Feige calling and saying it's too much.
Right.
Really? Welcome to another episode of the Nocturnal Movie Club. I am joined by your esteemed hosts, Jake King and Ethan Thing. Ethan, break it down for us, please.
Sure, this was a really exciting episode. We got our cold open here. Opening on Agatha Harkness, her true identity in Salem, Massachusetts in the 1600s, around the same time as the Salem witch trials. Except she's not under trial by any villagers. She's under trial by her fellow witches. She's accused of using dark magic that's apparently forbidden to even witches to use, and that she's been climbing up the ranks a little too fast. In a very cheesy CW-looking scene, as they're trying to kill her, she reverses the magic on them, killing out all the other witches, including her own mother. And then, as we get that establishing scene showing us a little bit of who Agatha is, we come back to the present day. Wanda realizes she cannot use her powers against Agatha, as Agatha has hexes and curses all over the room, preventing anyone except her from using magic, with Agatha immediately showing she's the one in power here. Very comic book-like scene, I might add. Agatha reveals she was behind Pietro. Agatha explains to us how her powers work through a whole Harry Potter-esque classroom scene of the different types of magic. And she reveals a little bit about her motivation. Like why did she want to do all this? She saw Wanda create this whole illusory town and wants to figure out how she was able to do it without having any of the years of training she had. So now we're starting to learn a little bit more about her character, and we start to get a little more understanding of where the show is going. Agatha then makes Wanda walk back into a vision of her past, showing how Wanda got good at doing illusions and how she was able to conjure up this power. We begin first with them in her Sokovian apartment as a child, showing where she got her love for sitcoms and how she lost her parents. Then we get to see how she first interacted with the Infinity Stone. There's a big flash of the yellow from that Tesseract blue stone, and we see a vision of a woman. Wanda is knocked out, and when she wakes up, she has her powers amplified, not given to her. Another big reveal, in fact. And then we go to how Wanda and Vision bonded after Wanda lost her brother and how the two became close. And we get our final flashback of Wanda going to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get Vision's body for a funeral. And we actually get an interesting moment here where we see she didn't break in by force, knocking over guards and whatnot. She came in rather peaceably, found Vision, and was comforted by the fact that, well, not comforted, distraught by the fact that Vision is dead and there's nothing she can do. Hayward mentions maybe you could bring him back to life, perhaps a tricker, but she doesn't fall for it. Instead, she just drives all the way out to Westview to the house she and Vision had planned to drive, to live and grow old in. And in her pain and distress, she creates this whole town of Westview from thin air, including Vision, apparently. And finally, we see Wanda is on a soundstage, seats set for a studio audience, Agnes clapping. Wanda asks, where are her kids? And Agnes reveals that Wanda is a creature of legend, a being of spontaneous creation. She calls her Scarlet Witch for the first time, and the episode closes. Just a basic summary of everything who Agatha is and how did Wanda get to where she is. I thought it was a pretty decent episode, kind of cool and interesting.
It did, but lots of different plot holes. I'm like, that I have still more questions. Like one, I didn't think the mother. I think she was like the mother of the coven. I don't think that was Agnes's real mother. Two, we still don't get why if Agnes wants to shut Wanda down, right? She's like, you're too dangerous. Like, so is Agnes secretly good? Which is interesting because Agnes always rode the fence in the comics. She's always been like kind of good, kind of bad. That's another question. How one and I seen where she like Vision comes like it looks like Vision came out of her.
Yeah.
Like so like when Vision died, did he go into her? Is that a question? Clearly they're gonna use that new body Hayward made to bring Vision back into the MCU fully. Second thing is like why would Hayward even know Wanda can possibly bring back Vision? Like you said, you have the power to bring him back to life.
Right.
Like how would he know that? That's another thing. It's just like there's lots of questions. Are Hayward and Agatha working together? Is Ultron still in the picture? Probably not. But like it's just like Hayward's motivations aren't still clear. Clearly he wants Vision as a weapon. But there's still lots of things that need to be added up here. We were right. We got a longer episode this week, thank God. Which is cool. But yeah, all of the very great episodes, there's still lots of questions I still need answers. Jake, what do you think?
I really liked a lot of this episode. I had some problems with the writing. Some of it felt a little on the nose, especially when Agatha's explaining to Wanda how everything's working, like in that realm that they're in. And also, I mean, yeah, like that's my main complaint there, but I felt that this is the most emotional that the MCU has gotten since Endgame. Like, especially when Wanda sees Vision's corpse, like, basically separated in different pieces right there on that table. And when she feels his head saying, I can't feel you, like, that was like one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that section of the episode I felt was the strongest part because there was an emotional buildup to right to the point where she gets to Westview and she basically in a brash of energy, she just generates the sitcom world around her. Like, I don't know, I just felt like so emotionally entangled to that. And I felt that, I guess that kind of distracted me from all the questions that you brought up, OJ, like about the backstory. Like, the emotion of this episode won me over.
No, I agree. There's a lot of great emotion, but it's still weaving a very tangled storyline that I like. Although I'm enjoying the ride here, I still have many question marks of what the hell is happening. Like you couldn't. Her reasoning for not being able to use real Pietro didn't make sense to me. Like because his body's buried somewhere, it just didn't make sense. So like, I have lots of questions. So.
But we finally did get the mention of the name Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, which is great, and I'm still also like have questions about like that, like because they're really significantly altering the course of like what Scarlet Witch and how we. So apparently now Scarlet Witch is like this myth being, like what is Scarlet Witch then? Like I love that we are calling it chaos energy in that aspect, but it just doesn't make any sense just yet.
I'll take like what Agatha said about what the Scarlet Witch is the new canon of what she is, a being who can spontaneously create new things. And that's kind of weird because I think she's literally, I mean, if we think of chaos theory in some aspects, I'm not a physicist, but you could start to think about it in the sense that everything is created or destroyed. And she's literally spontaneously creating new matter in a way. Because I do think that this Vision body that we've been seeing and loving is a new Vision creation, completely different from the old Vision. I still think the old Vision body is still in the lab somewhere and can be turned into Ultron for some reason. That's just me. But
no, that old Vision body is done. Like so clearly, like I think it's the thing where like Vision's soul went into Wanda, and then like that Vision will take the new evil Vision's body, and
interesting.
Either they're gonna destroy that body and like that's it, or Vision will carry on. It's gonna be either or. Like either we're gonna get new Vision and that's his new body, or Vision's gonna be done after this.
I think we're definitely gonna go towards new Vision body. That's the ultimate end goal. I think that's what they're trying to transition to. But I still. So what's going on with the old body then? Because it doesn't look like she ever stole that body. That footage.
No, she never stole. They used that old body to make the new one. It's like bits and pieces. Like but it's just all about what Hayward did to it. I'm sure it has like some weird like controlling over it. We'll see, but I'm sure they use, it's vibrating. It can be manipulated very not easily, but you can use it over and over. So I'm talking like vibrating like a real thing.
Yeah,
they-
pure context here.
so funny. So you can use the vibranium. I'm sure the whole body's in there somewhere.
Okay, that'd be interesting because I'm going purely off of like Agatha saying she can create stuff completely new, which I guess you're right is not exactly the case. She can't exactly create new things. The only new things we've seen her create without any shadow of a doubt is their children. Those are completely new. Everything else you can argue is just a transformation of something else that's been there.
This is true. She and then Agatha searching because Agatha wants that kind of power for herself.
Yes.
The question is like, is she trying to take Wanda's power? Is she trying to shut Wanda down? We still don't know Agatha's clear motive to me yet.
I agree. I think her interim modem, though, is definitely the power play. She definitely wants to figure out what that power is. Traditional super villain type of thing. You have something I don't. I want it. How did you do it? She was just born with it. What are you gonna do?
She wasn't even born with it. Like the cool thing I just like love this episode. We confirmed Wanda had her powers prior to
Infinity Stone.
Infinity Stone.
Right.
What we don't know quite yet, and I think we'll find out next episode, if the Infinity Stone unleashed something in Wanda or enhanced something already in Wanda. So we don't know.
They use the word
or did this
amplify.
mythical
when they
being come
talk about
save
it.
Wanda? Maybe this mythical being chose Wanda,
Something
like
else.
a la Phoenix style. Because Feige loves to steal up the storyline. Maybe it's probably just like a Phoenix that chose Wanda as a host. New theory alert.
Oh,
I
man.
haven't heard this one yet. I think Scarlet Witch is a mythical being a la Phoenix. Feige, you dog. I figured you out. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Got the cameras.
Yes. Feige, you think you're so slick. This is a Phoenix storyline. No, we'll see. I don't know. But I love that we confirmed that Wanda did have her powers prior to the Infinity Stone.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
I'm gonna go with a 7. I have many questions answered. I need many questions answered. I hope they wrap it up. I think we're gonna end on a 10, but this one's definitely a 7.
I'm on the opposite. I think I'm on a full 8 out of 10 for this one. I think for once they were able to capture that childlike joy within me. I'm just telling you.
What? Whoa, what is happening?
I don't know
I'm
what's going
up,
on,
you're going
guys.
down. What
I
is
don't know what's going on. What the hell's going on here?
mutiny here?
This is a strange one. I like to be the most negative one here, but no, I like this one. This one hit me
We
for
have
some
reverse
reason.
roles this week.
Such a strange game, but yeah, no, I give it 8 out of 10. Definitely captured the emotional side of me here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ethan. I think I'm going to do 8 out of 10. Like when you bring up all these questions, OJ, yeah, like there's some logical inconsistencies here, but I felt the emotion wasn't enough to carry me through the episode because this is what I was waiting for.
Exactly the same. I think with all the good episodes of WandaVision, it starts way down here. And I'm so disappointed. We start off with literal high school level editing, kids making their fan film at home. And then the episode just rises. It just gets better and better and better and better. We get all these interesting reveals, all this interesting world building. I agree. There's a little too much explaining going on. But on a first watch, you can ignore that. On a second watch, you cannot ignore that. So, and I only watched it once, so they're lucky. I'll give it an 8. If I watched it twice, I would have dropped. I'm thinking Vision, last episode, Vision's going to come in to save the day, break Wanda out. Agatha's plans are going to be foiled. Wanda has to make a choice of keeping Vision alive or letting him, quote unquote, die. Vision will have to die. He'll die for 5 seconds, and then he'll somehow come into the new Vision form, the green and red one. And then we'll have the episode end. It'll be sad, and then it'll end happy. That's how I'm saying it's going to go. And maybe the reveal of who the true villain is, maybe a Mephisto kind of thing. How they're going to work that in, no idea. Just going to throw all that out as predictions.
I think for me, like it can go anywhere at this point because we also have to keep in mind that we're setting up for the future MCU movies, and we don't even know whether or not WandaVision is going to get a second season. So I'm thinking either they'll do something to try to keep Wanda in Westview for another season, or I think Agatha might be around for a little while. I think she's going to have a little bit more room to grow.
You think so? Because I was of the mindset like there's no way they're doing a second season of this show. Easily a one season, one and done.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
That's an interesting take.
This would just be a singular season thing, but anything can change.
Anything can change. Who knows? Who knows? I would love to see how they try to work that in, though.
Yeah, but I definitely do think because we also have to see where Monica's at in the next one.
Oh, it's true. Monica's probably going to come in with her powers as well. I doubt they're going to let her go through this whole show without flexing a little bit.
Oh yeah. So we'll see.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Catch us next week as we break down the final episode of WandaVision. Well, final episode of this season. We don't know if we're getting season 2 yet. Join us next week. Okay.